Hi, my name is Carmen, and today I wanted to talk about my experience with Mayan. Before working with Mayan, I was in such a rut that I noticed that I was constantly giving my power away to other people, to my partner in the relationship that I was in, as well as really anybody. I was having such a hard time staying grounded, feeling confident, feeling like myself. And yes, saying that I was constantly giving my power away is the best way to describe what I was going through. And it was a cycle that I couldn't stop on my own. I was filled with so much guilt over the past choices that I had made that it was really hard to move forward. I had a lot of trauma from my past since my youth that Mayan helped me go over and clear out. I couldn't help but self-sabotage myself constantly. I was really beating myself up on the daily, and anytime anything bad would happen to me, or I would just experience a negative thing, I would quickly think, well, I deserve it because I did X, Y, and Z. And it was a really hard and tough cycle to really get out of my head. And no matter how much I tried doing, meditation or like other exercises from courses and stuff that I've learned in the past, I just could not get out of it. And so when Mayan reached out to me, enlisting her services, I was so quick to jump on because I just knew that I needed an out. I needed a way out, and I needed to stop this mental cycle and this self-sabotage that I was instilling every day because it was not healthy. I was in such a really dark place. Through this process of working with Mayan, I was able to see clearly of what my core values are. Up until working with her, I had no idea what they were. It was hard for me to come to terms of what my wants and my needs were, and the things that I deserved, because up until that point I was stuck in a mental place where I felt so undeserving of good things. So by working with Mayan, I was able to go back and recover and re-earth past traumatic experiences that I didn't even realize was having a long-term lasting effect on me now, and even affecting the choices that I made, and even affecting who I was choosing to keep around in my life. Since my one-on-one session working with Mayan, I have absolutely just completely let go of the guilt and the shame that I was carrying up until that point. And it was so heavy. It was almost paralyzing. That almost in a way like stopped me from living my life. And I was so stuck in my head. And by working with Mayan, I was finally able to get out of my head and shift into my body and really reclaim my power. So now I feel differently for when I look at my past. I still see the timeline and the turn of events, the cause and effect of my choices, but there is no longer this attachment of negative or draining energy telling myself that I'm in the wrong, or that I can't move forward, or that I need to be in the state of shame. Instead, I just see it for what it is. And now, since working with her, I feel much lighter. I feel a lot more liberated. I feel like I have reclaimed my power. I feel like I have a renewed sense of purpose. And since the new year, I have really loosened my grip in my current relationship, where like I just need it to be a certain way. I need it to look like this. I need him to act this way. It's by being able to reclaim my power, I am more secure with who I am internally, and have a much more sacred in connection with myself, that I'm not constantly turning to other people and seeking validation outside of me. And that in itself is just such a huge win and such a huge accomplishment, because I really spent the majority part of 2020 just in the dumps, really. If that was my life, all of last year, just constantly seeking validation from other people. So it was really great to pinpoint that and heal that. It's not that we're getting rid of it, but we're transforming that energy. And it was really good. It was tiring, but it was good because there's a lot of work. A lot of work was done that day. What I love about working with Maya and what's made working with her so special and so unique in comparison to other coaches that I've had in the past, she is so present with you. She really just is. When working with her, there was just no sense of judgment. There was just only her and her service and her willingness to help you shift. And her container is so big to help you heal that just her presence alone is very healing and very safe. I spent like 6.5 hours with her during my session, and I showed up wearing a blanket over my head, just looking, in my opinion, that day, a hot mess. And there was absolutely zero judgment. She was just she was just there for me. And I'll never forget it. I remember that session being such an outpour of all the things that I've been keeping inside. It was, in a way, like a crammed therapy session. Not crammed in terms of time, but more so of like, I was just getting everything and anything I could off my chest. I was like, oh, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then shortly after talking, I would have another thing come up from the past, and then, talk about that. And so it was absolutely an experience that I didn't even know that I needed. I mean, I knew that I needed healing, but I didn't know the depth that we were going to dive into. And she was there for me. She was just so present. And during my time with her, we actually did like a short hypnotherapy session. And I loved her voice so much. She was so soothing and so healing that I actually asked her if she could send me a recording of it after, which she did. And it's something that I listen to before I go to sleep. And that has helped me to continue my healing. Biggest takeaway from working with Mayan is that session has had a lasting effect up until this day. So yeah, I love Mayan. I think she's great. She has helped change my life. She has freed me. I just see her as someone that's going to help you shift your energy. And in my opinion, I kind of think that's for everybody. And so thank you so much, Mayan. I highly recommend her.